Yeah, it's morning again here on Mimas. We've got a fairly high battery. It's not quite full, but it's not doing too bad. So I've printed off some stuff in preparation, but there's a few things that I haven't printed before that I wanted to get on screen here. Now I'm going to start with an atmospherics. We do in the shroom room. Um, we have an atmospherics in one of the packages. uh, because they intend that one to be a H2 combustor to give you water, whereas we're going to use this one for something else. So I could use that one if I wanted, because they're shared. They're under the atmospherics category, but I may as well leave that one for the water setup. Next, I'm printing an ice crusher. Uh, oh, speaking of, I bet you I don't have many oxite, do I? Oh, well, I tried to do my mining off screen, but since I forgot, let's go ahead and make sure that one. Okay, good. It just printed the one. If I remember correctly, there's a bit out here. Turn on our sensor lenses. Yeah. Hopefully it's not too bright on the screen there. Yeah, now that we have these sensor lenses, we can just target exactly what we want and get a ton of it right off the bat. Yeah, this is unplanned, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to put some filler in there. Today we're going to be working on getting our O2 supply straightened out. So we're going to be reliant on these oxide chunks that we're digging up, but at least we won't have an ever dwindling tank to rely on. Now I'm pretty sure this is going to be overkill what I've already got here, but since I'm at it, I may as well get a bunch. And yeah, I've been noticing a lot of block update issues where it looks like the terrain's there, but you saw that, or if you noticed, one of the oxide had disappeared on my screen, but there was still a bunch of dirt in the way. And I think, yeah, it was technically gone, but it just didn't register for some reason. May as well just finish off this whole deposit if I've got space. Let the momentum carry me. Okay, so we've got the atmospherics, we've got the ice crusher, and we have almost no room. Now, I'm going to print a couple of smart canisters. This is what we're going to use instead of these normal canisters, because the smart canisters have double the capacity, or technically they have double the pressure resistance, not double the capacity, because that is distinct and different. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. So we want to print a portable gas tank Mark II. The difference between the regular version and the Mark II is that the Mark II has okay, I'm swapping the wrong things because I'm distracted. Okay, I guess good enough. Okay, so what was I talking about here? Oh yes, the portable tank Mark II. So we've got some portable tanks already. Um, we've got the O2 tank in there. That one's a Mark I. But if we come out here to the Mark II, the Mark II has double the capacity of the other one. So this one can hold up to 20 megapascals about. I never really fill them above 16 though. Beyond that is pretty extreme, and you risk blowing things up. Because if they get warm, thermal expansion causes the gas inside to expand, and if it goes above 20, you could have an explosion on your hands. So we'll set this stuff down over here. But yeah, so inside is a Mark One. The fuel canister there, which that's why I was showing you that one. That one's a Mark II. I don't know if I actually specified. Okay, so now we need more filters for our character. So I'm going to print the heavy filters now. These last a lot longer than these. In fact, these 4 that I'm going to print off here will probably last me through the game. Let's see, another thing I have planned, if I have time, is that I'm going to remove all these iron walls. You can see I've done a lot of them already throughout the area, but there's still some that are pressurized, and I'm going to remove those also. I guess while that's going on, I'll give you kind of a preview here of how you do it. So this one, we're not going to be or worry about this one so much, but if I place a wall here, now gas won't escape. So if I was in there, somebody could come out here and remove that one safely. So that's kind of what we're going to do, is we're going to place walls on all the floors and the walls of an area, and then remove the iron frames, come back and then put the steel ones down, obviously, and then get the walls back. Okay, so that is done. Let's go ahead and put the CO2 filter here for now. We may as well burn up these tier 1s. There we go. That was the last carbon dioxide filter. Now we need 2 oxygen filters, and I decided to go with the heavies on these as well. Because the setup I'm creating is probably going to get moved eventually, and when I move that, I'll move the O2 filters. I'll just let those run because I only had enough ingredients in there for it to print those 2. So we want that tank to be white. We want these smart canisters to be white to represent oxygen. What people typically do when they're color coding their base, and good, got one of these done, is that they use the color on the filter. So O2 is white. You can see carbon dioxide here is gray. There's nothing forcing you to do that, but it's just what people typically do. Oh, I did remember one other thing I need to get to print off here. A portables connector. There we go. So you've seen these before. It's what we use to lock down the water tank inside the mushroom area and lock down this fuel tank over here. Okay, let's get the kind of basic design out of the way first. I prototyped one, but it wasn't like a final version or anything. Okay, I want to look. I think, yeah, the access is in the front, which means if it had a dial pressure gauge, it would be facing that way. So I want I'll leave a little bit of space there, but then yeah, I'll put that there. Oh, nice. And that there. Can't forget to paint it. Okay, so I pre-colored this as well. This is kind of our goal. We're going to get these canister storage or gas tank storage, but canisters. We're going to get some oxygen into those, and we'll get pure oxygen too, which would be handy. Okay, that one's empty. I suppose we probably won't even need that one anymore. I set it aside and then changed my mind and decided to go with nope, that's not lined up. And there, I just changed my pressure. Dang it. But yeah, I decided to go with smart canisters instead of the regular ones. Actually, I probably better put this a little off out of the way rather than right in the path over here. When I was prototyping it, I actually I tapped into the bottom power and I was wondering why it wasn't working. And for those who haven't seen the previous episodes, that the bottom line here is what where the power is generated. But if it's not generating any power, then it can't power a transformer. There we go. Set it up to 50K. Suppose we don't need it on yet. Okay, I think I'm going to make the access over here, though. Kind of the machine access. So the atmospherics has a lot of different possible variants, for lack of better phrasing. The first one is the air conditioner. It does a heat exchange. You have the input pipe on the right over on this side, and then the output on the left. Pointing kind of towards us is what it calls the waste for the air conditioner. Technically, it's not a waste product. It's where it sends the heat or pulls heat from, because the air conditioner can either heat or cool. It's going to be a while since before I use one of those, so I figured I'd explain quick what they did. The variant we're interested in right now, though, is this one, the filtration setup. And we need some pipes. We'll go ahead and use these to build it to the first tier. And then I think it's screwdriver and cable. Yep. There we go. So now we have that set up. While I'm doing this, I may as well give you a quick rundown of it. So filtration, I'm sure it comes as no shock, but it filters. You have the input on this side, and then two outputs. The one that goes straight is the filtered output. So since we have oxygen filters in here, it's going to filter out the oxygen and put it in that line. And anything else will come out to the side here. Okay, cables. Are we ready for cables? No. Oh, remembered one more thing we need to print. So I believe I mentioned on the last episode that we're going to be using Oxite. So we're going to be crushing the ice for this. And that's definitely the plan. And just like we have over here, I want to have a stacker that I can switch on and put the oxide into a chute network, which good thing I'm talking about that because I don't have any chutes. Okay, that's not quite enough, so let's grab another iron ingot here, or a stack of 50. Okay. Yes, and then the stacker will feed into the ice crusher. Oh, that's in my inventory. Okay. There's going to be another tank canister connection over here. And this one is going to be black because it is nitrogen. The color of nitrogen in the filters. Oh, and of course I should have done filter nitrogen. The background color is black. I tended to use green because the canister they start you with has nitrogen in it and it is green, so I kind of thought that was where they were going to kind of steer people for the color. Okay, we got that all connected. Good, good. This one we can put in here. This one we'll put in our suit.
Air tank critical.
Air tank critical. Oh. Alright, well. Let's go ahead and go in here. So we don't have that buzzing. Grab some food. Grab some O2. Come on, there we go. And may as well top off on water as well. Mushrooms are done, but I'll harvest those later. Alright, looks like this filter is about dead. I'm going to wait till the other one starts ticking down though, because even though it says 0, it might be between 1 and 0. Okay, we don't need a very long pipe here. In all actuality, a long pipe can kind of get us in trouble. We're going to be loading it into the stacker, and I'll set that there. Oh yes, we're gonna use an adhesive insulation and insulate all this stuff up too. I think we can color these pipes white. Okay, yeah. Technically, I should color it something else since it's going to be a mix. And yet, sorry, my head is getting a little cloudy, so it's tough to remain focused here. Okay, first build state on the ice crusher is just the welder and an iron sheet in your other hand. Second step is, oh, it's just wire, no screwdriver required. There we go. Since we're talking about wire, let's go ahead and wire this stuff up. Run it on back here. We do have to connect the data on the ice crusher because of the setup I'm going to be using, and the data on the filtration device as well. There we go. Okay, we have that all connected up. We're going to grab our laptop. This is the other use of an IC that I mentioned, which I must not have printed that. Oop. I did ICE 10. That doesn't so much work. More steel. It's going to break 20 off. Get that printing. Okay, while that prints, which it might almost be done, but may as well come over here anyway. Yeah, I think that looks good. Way more pipes than I need, but that's all right. Oops, bring it the wrong direction. Pipes are something that I'm probably going to use fairly extensively, so it is perfectly all right that we have extra. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and switch this on. Okay. Yeah, it's not lit up because there's nothing actually turned on over here. But now you can see it's lit up. Now I know I can get away with adding a few things in here, and whoops, I had it set to 1, so it took and was adding those individually into the system. Okay, that's a good start. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We're crushing up the oxite, and that's giving us oxygen and nitrogen. If you've been watching before, you probably already knew that because I think I've mentioned it a couple times. But since we're actually directly dealing with it, it's good to mention again. All right, there's our IC10 chip. Bring this over here and going to edit, and I'm going to pause it because that ice crusher is still running. It will eventually get overpressure, or overpressurize the pipes rather, and explode. Okay, so I'm only going to have one alias in this script for D0, because if you noticed, I didn't print an IC housing. We're going to actually put this chip directly into the filtration device. So yep, start, yield, basic stuff. Now I'm going to load the input pressure of dB. dB is a special reference that says the the unit that holds the chip. So if it was an IC housing, it would be referencing the IC housing. But in this case, we're putting it in a filtration unit, which means it's has access to that atmospherics um, data under dB. So yes, load from dB, load from the filter, the input pressure. If it's less, well, set less than. So essentially we're doing an if right now. If the pressure is less than 45,000, save to the ice crusher on state the value of R1. So that was set to 1 up here if it's less than 45,000. And that's in kilopascals, so 45 megapascals. Here we're doing the same, a similar thing, but we're doing greater than 40,000. And we're setting the mode of the dB, so the mode of the filter, to the value that comes from there. The mode 0 is idle, 1 is active. So even though the filtration unit is on, you can put it into an idle state. So it consumes less power and it's not doing anything with its pipe network. And that's also important. Pretty much the main reason I do it is the filters that I put in there. It doesn't chew up the filters, whereas if you have it on, it could. And that's also kind of why I'm waiting till it's 40 megapascals. The way the filtration devices work is that they're far more effective the higher pressure the input is in comparison to the outputs that we have down here. There's always a baseline running speed, but yeah, if your pressure on the output, either output, is too high, it brings it down to just about a grinding halt. Okay, so now we're going to load the pressure output for the filter and the pressure output too. I'm actually going to make a live change here. So R1 is the pressure output. That's where the oxygen is going because we loaded the oxygen filters. And the smart canisters have double the capacity, so we're going to double the amount that it's allowed. That would be 16 megapascals. So yeah, set less than. So if R1 is less than 16,000, if R2 is, which is pressure output 2, that's where the nitrogen is coming out, is less than 8,000, if both of those are true, then we set the on state of the filtration unit to that value. So if the pressure skyrockets on either of these, which it will pretty soon, it actually switches the filtration off to conserve power. So if you come over, you swap your smart canister with it, go in the back there, switch the filtration unit on, and then it will make sure that everything is good to go. So it also applies, or well, here we're checking the on state of the ice crusher. We had referenced it up here, or we set it up here one way or the other, but I want to make sure that it turns off if the filtration unit turns off, because if it remains on, the filtration unit can't control it anymore and it might rupture pipes. And yes, that almost happened in my testing. But don't worry, everything was fine. Something else exploded. So yep, set ice crusher on whatever the value of R0 is. So it takes into account what we set the filtration unit on, or to, and if both are ones, if both of them are on, then the ice crusher remains off. So if either one of them is 0, then it'll turn it off. So if the pressure is high enough, or if the filtration unit is getting shut off because of the pressure, the output pressure. Oof. Yeah, I think I lost my last brain cell explaining that. Okay, we're gonna, whoop, nope, we don't want that on yet, actually. We want to put the filtration unit in there. Because, yeah, that's kind of why we're going through this trouble, is to make sure that we conserve as much power and the resources to build the filters as possible without blowing things up. Can't blow up things on every episode, otherwise, you know, you can't find the resources that you need to blow other stuff up. There we go. So we're setting the stacker to D0. Now we can turn it on. You can see it's idle. The pressure differential, it was actually displaying it there, was 11 some megapascals. So most of that is from this. There's a little bit in these pipes, but less than a megapascal, so it won't really throw things off. Okay, now we pretty much just wait for it to get over 40. I'll check back on it here now and then. Right now I don't have a canister for that one. I might use the propellant canister. We'll have to see. If so, I've got the black spray can right there I can use. Okay, let's go into our mushroom growing area and do what I had mentioned earlier and set down some walls on the floors. So, yep, we're going to set walls on the floors here, and then, and even that sounds weird, you know, walls on the floors, but yeah. The floor grading in the game isn't airtight, so you have to use something that is, and walls are just one of the easiest. There we go. So now we can go down there and dig up those iron frames. While we're at it, I'm actually gonna come in here and put these walls in here so that I can grab the iron walls also. Oh, here, let's get that thing to stop jiggling. Yes, in a physics-based game like this, if you see something jiggling like that, try to prevent it from doing so, because it might explode. Or more, in this case, it would fly out and hit you, potentially. And I didn't bring enough plastic sheets, but that's okay, because we'll come in here and uproot the ones on the floor. Okay, so yeah, now I can safely come out here and grab these iron frames. And we didn't lose any pressure. Come back here to check on this, because this is our primary concern. Now that you kind of saw what I was planning, I don't necessarily need to portray it all. But, you know, since that's processing, I'll still grab a few more. Okay, those over there are steel. Then we have these. That's why I put those walls on the inside. This one's not connected to anything except the airlock. And the same for that one. I should have printed off. I suppose I could just as well. Do we have anywhere to connect them nicely? No. I think it's called pressure gauge. Oh, it would help if I could type. No. Meter? Pipe meter. And we need more iron, which we all used on all the chutes. Okay, wasn't that important anyway. I'll put some of those out here on these. Oops. Okay, yeah, we caught it right when it's actually activating now. It'll activate and then it'll go idle. That's waiting for the ice crusher to put more into the system. Okay, so from the looks of it, we're going to end up with a lot of or a high pressure on the nitrogen, and we're probably going to want to do something with that so that we can bring the smart canisters up to 16 megapascals. But yeah, I can put that into the mushroom room because that's going to connect to the greenhouse eventually. Yep, I'm not going to rely on mushrooms alone forever. There we go. Now I do have to be, kind of careful. That's why I connected this portable tank. In my test version, I didn't have the portable tank. I just had a few pipes connected straight to the tank storage, and it went up to like 8,600. I was using regular canisters on that one. But yeah, it went up to 8,600, which not catastrophic, but it was more than I planned on letting it reach. Okay. I thought I saw air current, but nope. So I'll get these frames torn down. I'll put steel sheets in there. We have we recently kind of resolved our current power problems by adding the gas fuel generator, which I didn't specify, but you probably assumed that the hot gas that we're getting from the generator can then be sent into the Stirling generator to give us more electricity. So a win on both fronts. And now we're resolving our O2 problem. I could grab this now, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna let it get up to 16. Swap it out for the other one and have two full ones. Or I'll leave the one in here. Okay. Pretty soon, maybe not the next episode, but soon I'm going to be doing base expansion stuff, so I guess look forward to that. Have a good one.